So you can crawl up through this roof hatch or above the bed. I've had every single Volkswagen van except for a Synchro. This whole build at this point is just scrap wood. Small spaces for me don't have to be small. Hey, I'm Cyrus, and this is my mobile habitat / shop that I live in full time. One of the big features of this truck for me was being able to have it feel open. Coming from the van world, one of the beauties of having a van is that you slide that door open and you're just open to the elements for one, and you're also open to the social dynamics of wherever you are. And moving into a box truck was a completely new element, new truck, new design, and I felt like without that sliding door, I'd lose this like social element of being in these amazing places with amazing people, but then being closed off. And so it was really kind of a big step, but throwing in a giant window that you can open up and have just this like interaction kind of similarly with a van. And it's been amazing because it's really changed the way that you can interact being around groups of people that you want to be friends with and get to know. This whole build at this point is just scrap wood, scrap design. I wanted to do like a rough build and just see how things fit. But one of the major components that was really important to me was I want a big sink, I want a big fridge, and I want everything to run off of electricity, off of the technology that we have. So there's no secondary fuel sources, induction cooktop stoves, electric oven, and I wanted a ton of water. So I have 65 gallons of water under here, and we've been on the beach for over a week and a half, and I'm at a half a tank still. Like basic stuff, but like important for being off-grid and enjoying this kind of lifestyle with minimal input. One of the ridiculousness of this truck is that it's 7.5 feet wide. And so the capacity to build a giant L couch and have a twin mattress, so I can sleep a person here, have all of my utilities with 65 gallons of water. They're right up in front. And again, like this hasn't been built out. So this whole area is storage that I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with yet. But one of the big things for me that I wanted out of this truck was it to be very open and airy. And so I was at a marine thrift shop in Florida and found 2 roof hatches for $50 a piece. And so it's basically a little treehouse. You can crawl up through this roof hatch or above the bed, and like lots of light, lots of cross flow. It feels like you're kind of outside when you're in here. It's been fun kind of seeing it come together. Like right now, there's a couple people sleeping on the roof that didn't have a place to stay and were able to come and hang out and be part of the crew. And like offering that is really special. So it's been cool to kind of see it all come together and have it. I've always been into cars. My dad had a 1977 Westphalia. My grandfather built a school bus and turned it into a camper. And so the family lived on the beach every summer. And so I grew up knowing that this lifestyle was real. Like there's a beatnik in the 60s living on a beach in a bus. And so when I was 15, I wanted to snowboard. I wanted to snowboard as many days a year as I could on a shoestring budget. And so back in the day, you could live in the parking lot of the mountain in whatever you were willing to live in. And so being able to have a van and like 8 sleeping bags and a dirty like propane heater, and like you wake up with ice on your like sleeping bag, but you're like ready to shred, you don't care. And so you're, it's like the dirtbag lifestyle. You're like, what matters to you is different than what matters to other people. Like I want to go snowboarding. I want to go be on the beach. This gives me the opportunity to live on a fraction of the cost that most people spend on rent or a house or mortgage or whatever, but have $1 million vehicle. It's like absolutely amazing. If you're willing to maybe not take a shower for 2 weeks, I don't know. You just never know. Again, with the box truck, a lot of the issues that van life people have is height, sleeping height, and sleeping perpendicularly with a van creates a lot of issues. That's why they make the bump outs and the flares. With the box truck, I have a full queen size mattress that has another 13 inches of space on the headboard it's ridiculous. It's absolutely amazing how much more space this provides, because the footprint of this truck is the same as a Sprinter 170, but the volume is, I don't know what to compare it to. It's just bigger. I kind of threw this all together with scrap wood for now. I wanted to be in it, live a little bit in there, but I want to make this in a Murphy bed style that folds up. This entire area under the bed is a shop. I carry an entire shop with me. I have welder, chop saw. I welded up somebody's suspension today, fixed, Morgan's truck. I mean, it's so amazing to be able to show up in a remote area and have every single tool, plumbing, electrical, welding. I mean, it's just a gift. And so that's what this was built for. Small spaces for me, don't have to be small with windows. I think when you you feel nature, it brings you in touch with your environment. And so closing things off is just, you kind of feel closed off. But if you have windows, all of a sudden the connectivity to your surroundings, just you become intimate with it. And so one of the things that I spent a lot of money on, windows, skylights. You can lay in bed and just stare at the moon. And then you can also crawl through the skylight onto the roof. There's a 16-foot roof deck. And so it's just really fun. But it's amazing to be able to wake up. I mean, I kind of designed it to drive down the California coast. So if you're driving south on the one, you pull off a side, turn off, and everything's designed to be open to the beach. So if you're sleeping and you wake up on the ocean, you can just stare out the window and you're just there. You can hear the ocean, you can feel the ocean. It's really amazing to be inside seemingly a small space and have it feel much bigger. So one of the checklist items of this new build for me after being in the van was I really wanted a composting toilet. So there's a composting toilet that slides out the Nature's Head. And I haven't done the shower system yet, but I'm gonna jack up the fridge and make a slide out shower pan. I didn't want a full wet bath, but I do want the capacity to take a shower in here. So that's kind of a down the road. I got to figure out the engineering behind it. But there's a 12-volt electric hot water heater. So I basically have hot water on tap all the time, which is phenomenal. I mean, having to wait for tanks to heat up, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so this system is really efficient and also just really convenient. And so I'm super stoked. There's this initial impact of judging other vehicles or judging people with vehicles and not feeling like you could get there, that you have to start with a brand new four-wheel drive Sprinter. It's a good goal. I mean, it's set goals. I set my goals to find a four-wheel drive Fuso and build it out. And it took, I've been dreaming about this truck for 15 years, 10 years. I don't know how long it's been, and it's things take time. But the most important part is getting your foot in the door and just going out and experiencing dirt roads, right? Don't judge yourself against other people's vehicles. You don't know what it took to get there. Tiny spaces are about function. You could live in a Subaru wagon and have it function for every single need that you would ever need in your life, depending on your perspective, right? It's about being present with what you actually need and being okay with it. And being I'd rather have the bare minimum of what I actually need to survive and be able to experience the lifestyle of living on a freaking beach. The opportunities that arise from letting go, I think, of your ego needs versus the actual needs, it creates so much more experience in this planet and connectivity to people and your environment. I just encourage people to not look at the level of van or truck or whatever, to get in whatever you have. If it's a horse and buggy, just go. Get out into nature and experience this planet, and that will evolve into, the direction that you want to flow in. And so just go, just do it. Just take the plunge. Right off the bat, one of the things I knew I was going to do with this truck was put a full length roof rack on it. There's just really something special about the height perspective, being on the beach, being in these amazing places, and being able to just hang out with your friends. The views change. It's just really special, and so I prioritize that with this truck. Just happened that it has a 16-foot roof deck with the capacity to put a rooftop tent. And since the technology of extruded aluminum and being able to put a frame roof rack on the tent, the efficiency of being able to hold 480 watts of solar on top of a rooftop tent allows the space to turn into a secondary room, a penthouse suite, whatever you want to call it, and it's just an amazing place to hang out. I've been into vans pretty much my entire life, and Volkswagen vans have always been a huge part of my life. I've had every single Volkswagen van except for a Syncro. So if you're a van nerd, you'll notice the Volkswagen Syncro stickers. So this is now my Syncro Volkswagen. So you can dork out on that a little bit, but these trucks are basically like driving a Volkswagen van, kind of slow. They drive you, you don't drive them. They're kind of quirky, and it's fun. It's got a lot of soul and a lot of character. I put all the Australian bull bars on it and tires, the super singles, and had some some surfboard mounts left over from a van project. So just kind of made those work, added some storage. If you're gonna own and drive a vehicle that's, you know, this old and this eccentric, you got to learn how to work on stuff. And so being able to have a plethora of tools, you have to have it. So these boxes are full of lots of tools. With the box truck, it originally had a roll-up door, and I needed it to open up so I can get access to my tools. I built a tire rack ladder. It's got a little hand crank winch, so these tires are extremely difficult to lift by yourself. Made the back step slide up, so it's a little harder to get to on a daily basis if you're a thief or whatever. And then it's got basically a full shop, the access to an immense amount of storage to be able to be mobile and have every single tool that you want on hand. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video and checking out my rig. If you potentially need work fixing a solar system or any van related problems you might have, feel free to reach out to me through my website or Instagram. But I'm happy to help people. I need a little extra gas money, so that might help. Also, I build vans with a company called Glamper Van in West Oakland. And so if you're in the Bay or around that area and you want to check out our rigs, or if you want any accessory work done, or just want to hang out, we all live in our rigs and build vans and are just into this world. It's and helping people accomplish that first step or that last step or whatever it might be. So I don't know, hit me up.